Welcome back, everyone, and one final episode of the Lightning Round, Meals on Wheels. Steve King. Steve, great to have you here. Tell us about your program.
Well, thank you. Great to be here with all the other organizations that are here. Meals on Wheels cares for the homebound and the disabled and the elderly of our community. Been around for a long, long time. Meals on Wheels of Tampa been around for 40 years. Taking care of moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas that really don't have any other options.
Yep. And how did you come to be associated with Meals on Wheels?
Well, I've been here for 10 years now. I was a minister for 25 years before that, and this is the same type of work, caring for folks. Have a mom who's 93 myself, so I know the importance of this work, and we're just so thankful for our volunteers and our donors who make it happen.
Yeah. And you would need, your greatest need would be?
Well, we can always use money to feed the folks that we serve, and we can always use volunteers. And people can find out about our program at mowtampa.org, and I'd love to have them come and visit us at the site.
Steve King for Meals on Wheels, thank you for being with us, and thank you for being with us as well. This concludes the hour of our Give Day Tampa Bay webcast, but stay with us. There are a number of outstanding groups yet to come. The over 550 nonprofits who are participating in Give Day touch people's lives in hundreds of different ways. Here are a couple of outstanding organizations who are making a difference in Tampa Bay.
A bunch of business leaders in Brandon got together. They formed a coalition with church leaders, and they said, instead of all of us just piecemealing out food and emergency clothing to people who come to our church or people we see on the street, why don't we all get together and collectively do something? And out of that, Echo was born. We're the first place someone in crisis comes to in eastern Hillsborough County. We provide emergency food and clothes. So if someone is in crisis, right off the bat, that day, they will receive emergency food and clothing. And then on top of that, we don't want to just fix it. We really want to solve it. And so we provide wraparound services like GED and financial literacy and job skills training and job fairs and that kind of thing. And if we can't help, we know people who can. And so we will connect you to other community organizations that can help you. We serve on average 100 families a week. Over 14,000 individuals just last year alone. And so the need is great in eastern Hillsborough County, and we're there to help. People should support ECHO because the need is so great in eastern Hillsborough County, and we're so under-resourced. And so we're a little guy, but we need a lot of help. And we see people in need every single day, and they're our neighbors. They're not just somebody we pass on the street, or they're not just somebody we're driving past. These are our neighbors, and so I feel like to have a stable community, we need to help our neighbors.
Our mission is to stimulate learning through creativity, play, and exploration. And we're able to do that with our hands-on exhibits and our educational programming. Last year alone, we served over 220,000 children and families through our exhibit, as well as our traveling exhibits and our outreach programs. But we continue to donate over $750,000 worth of in-kind services each year to our community. And not only our educational programming in the museum, but we have a preschool on site as well. Having a hands-on children's museum is very important. Play is very important. It provides an environment that is there's no structure, there's no rules, and kids can really be themselves, use their imagination, their creativity, and it brings families together because children are playing and the parents play along with the children. So we started a program called our Great Connections program. It's the second Sunday of every month, and what we do is we open the doors to only children with families with children with special needs. We turn on half of the museum lights, and we don't turn any of the noises on in the exhibits. And we have a cool-down room, and we allow for 100 people to come in, max, so it doesn't get overcrowded, and families with special needs can come and play together and really spend the time together free of judgment and being all together as a family. They bring their therapists, they bring their neighbors, their community, and they come and play together in our environment in not an overcrowded situation. Many people don't know Great Explorations is a nonprofit, but Great Explorations is an incredible museum. We're very honored to have received an accreditation from the American Alliance of Museums, holding the highest honor a museum can receive. We're now joined the ranks of museums such as the Smithsonian, Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Dali, and it really puts us on a standard of quality that many people don't realize. We're the very first and only mid-sized children's museum to have this accreditation. So St. Petersburg really is on the map nationally, but without support from everyone and continued donations, we aren't able to be who we are and make the impact of that we do.
Welcome to Give Day Tampa Bay 2016, live from the WEDU studios at the Berkman Family Broadcast Center.
And good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Give Day Tampa Bay 2016. My name is Lissette Campos. I'm the Director of Community Affairs for WFTS. I'll be your host for the next hour of the live streaming webcast. We're here at the WEDU studios in Tampa with representatives from some of over 550 nonprofits who are participating in Give Day Tampa Bay this year. The theme of Give Day is Live Here, Give Here, and making a donation is quick and easy. You can log on to givedaytampabay.org and search for your very favorite charity from the list of participants, and when you hit the donate button, then it asks you for your credit card information. The minimum donation is $25. Give Day will be going on until midnight tonight, and will be live streaming from 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. this evening. Now, in the next hour, I'll be talking and listening to various nonprofit groups who are making a very big difference in the Tampa Bay area. We are going to our leaderboard while our next guests are being seated. We want to go to our leaderboard and get an updated total of your donations. Let's take a look. It is an exciting time here in the studio for WEDU as we continue our live stream of Give Day Tampa Bay 2016. I have the honor of doing some of the interviews for the next hour, and so many of them I feel like are a reunion really for Positively Tampa Bay. Our next group is wonderful Voices for Children, and joining me here we have Rona Kennedy and Brenda Coker for Voices for Children of Tampa Bay. And everyone in the studio has been looking at the guest who is very comfortable on the floor. Who is this little guy that you brought in?
This is Tibet, and she's our courthouse facility dog.
Courthouse. Tell our viewers about the role of Voices for Tampa Bay and how you all help the community.
Voices for Children of Tampa Bay supports and advocates for the abused, neglected, and abandoned kids in the foster care system here in Hillsborough County. We do this by partnering with Guardian Ad Litem. The Guardians program has volunteers that go out and do amazing work for the kids in our community. There are over 3,200 kids in foster care, and we are thankful to have volunteers that go out and learn those kids' stories and help be their voice in court. The program that we're very proud of is our courthouse dog program with Tibet. And Tibet is the first courthouse dog program in the state of Florida.
The first, and I know that it's been quite an investment of time and resources to train Tibet to do the important job that he does. Brenda, can you explain to our viewers?
Well, Tibet's training started at a very early age. She was purposely bred and strategically puppy raised, and her every day of her life from birth until now was designed to prepare her for a working life. And she was trained as an assistance dog, but it was determined that her personality would be better suited to work with a variety of clients, and specifically traumatized children, because of her sweet and calm demeanor. She's just very, very calm and emotionally charged environments.
She's beautiful. She really is. Give our viewers an idea of how much their dollars will help to continue this work.
Well, Voices for Children, let me back up just a moment. Canine Companions for Independence provided this dog free of charge to the community of Tampa Bay. Her training is worth about $50,000. And then Voices for Children came in on the other side, and they provide all of the operational expenses for Tibet, veterinary bills, food, transportation, all of the various things that go into doing this work is provided by Voices for Children. So it's a wonderful collaboration of nonprofits.
Rona, you were going to say something about the children and how they respond to Tibet.
They do. It's amazing to see how Tibet calms them. A lot of these children have been so traumatized, and as you can imagine, to have to testify or just share what has happened to them and how they've been treated by the people that were supposed to love them the most, it gets very overwhelming. And so we rolled out this year this program that we have these cute little Tibet-like dogs, and when Tibet helps a child in need, we try to leave behind a dog for that child to take, whether it's back to their foster home or to their group home, just something to hold on to and something to cherish that time. And we hope that it helps remind them of the calmness that they felt during that time. Voices for Children is so proud of this program and everything that we've been able to accomplish with it. But I have to say, we have collaborative partnerships throughout Hillsborough County. Child Advocacy Center and Mary Lee's house, and just the Sheriff's Office and bailiffs and everyone that has embraced this. Judge Esrick was a big cheerleader for us in the beginning, and so it takes all of us to let a program like this really work for the children in our community.
And this is why all of us feel so committed to Give Day Tampa Bay, because it's an opportunity for each of us to take part and help you in your mission and continue it. It's a perfect combination for anyone who loves children and loves animals. And thank you so much for what you all are doing.
Oh, it's
and
our
best
pleasure.
wishes to you.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
So stay right there. She's very excited.
She is.
Just kidding. Let's take a look at the leaderboard so you can see how the donations are coming in. And welcome back to the studios of WEDU, where we continue to live stream Give Day Tampa Bay 2016. Joining us in the studios now, we have our friends from Habitat for Humanities of Pinellas County. We are here with the beautiful and talented Miss Lisa Ferre and also Roxanne Carlucci. Thank you for coming in. Tell our viewers about the goal that Habitat for Humanities of Pinellas has set for this year.
So we set a goal to raise the roof and came up with a Trust Us campaign for $5,000 so that we could put the roof on one home. And I'm really excited to say that despite some of the technical difficulties, we actually passed that goal and have been able to truss 3 homes before noon today.
So when you say the technical difficulties, just for full disclosure of folks who are watching, we have this problem that's interesting to have, that the system, there's so many people trying to get in to giveday.org that they're having some difficulty with the system. It's a national problem, but that means that people are really trying to get on and donate, and so they are working on the technical side of things, and so we promise that it will be up as soon as possible so that all of these fine folks can get as much money as possible for Give Day Tampa Bay. Give our viewers an idea of how this contribution that they make today will help the organization move forward in terms of the mission and what happens in the next 6-7 months.
Well, I think that we all know that everyone deserves decent, affordable housing, and that is really the mission of Habitat. And so by raising the dollars to put a roof on a home, we're helping the next family. We are actually going to dedicate our, what number, Roxanne?
Oh, it's going to be your 359th home.
Yes, this Saturday.
Wow.
So that's a lot of families that we've been able to impact, and it's because of donations and this amazing community here in Tampa Bay.
And when you say 359th home, in how much time period?
So we've been in Habitat, Pinellas, for a little over 30 years, and but it's been in the last couple of years that the strategic plan and our amazing board of directors and leadership has really put together something that's really quite different. We will actually build 45 homes this year. So we build a lot in Pinellas.
And this is very nice that you brought in. Can you show it to our camera guys so that they can get a shot of this? This is fun.
So we took this out to our build sites today.
You have to put it in front. Oh, should I put it in front of me?
Do it.
Okay, here we go. Hello. Please give to Give Day Tampa Bay Habitat for Humanities of Pinellas.
Yes, thank you. We took it out to our build sites, and we had 3 great restaurant partners that are doing give back. So we had breakfast with Bob Evans in Clearwater, lunch with Taziki's, and tonight we're all at Pete and Shorty's. So they're doing a percentage back to help us reach that goal.
There's so many different ways that the families who are recipients of the homes are part of the build. They talk about sweat equity. Roxanne, can you describe some of that for us?
So the sweat equity consists of ranging between 250 to 350 sweat equity hours, and that basically means they work alongside our construction staff building their home, and they have to do 90 hours.
Well, 100 hours before they actually get offered a property.
And we've been out there, and it's mom, dad, the kids, grandparents, and it's really such a love effort. Everybody's out there smiling.
Right. And they get to actually partake in building their home, so it's a very meaningful, wonderful experience for them to work alongside everyone, get to know the Habitat staff, and potentially any sponsors that are also working with them.
And for so many of the families, this is really the only way that they could ever own a home.
Yeah, the dream of homeownership is something that, I think a lot of us have, and what Habitat does through a zero-interest mortgage, because they do make a mortgage payment.
Yes.
But it's that zero interest and the help with the down payment and the guidance they get from our homeowner services that allows them to get into the home, and those payments actually also help us build the next home for the next family. So they're really invested. It's a partnership. We actually have a covenant signing with our families because it's a true partnership. Their involvement is critical.
Well, thank you for coming in. It's nice to see you, Lisa. Nice to meet you, Roxanne.
Thank you.
And we will continue with our lineup of stars coming into the studio. But for now, we're going to take a check of the leaderboard. Take a look. Welcome back, everybody. We are in the studios of WEDU, where we continue to interview local nonprofits who are participating in Give Day Tampa Bay. Joining us now in the studios, we have wonderful animals who are joining us, and then we have super duper humans as well from the SPCA Suncoast. We have Carrie Ann Farrow and Ashley Gandy. Thank you for coming in. Carrie Ann, tell us about this cutie pie.
Well, little April here, she was about 3 weeks old when she was thrown from a moving car, and luckily there was somebody behind them that saw it happen, and they brought her to our shelter.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That is terrible that someone would do that.
It's heartbreaking, and unfortunately we see these things happen all too often. We have Nico here. Mm-hmm. Again, he was hit by a car and dragged, and when we did the x-rays, we also found out he was shot twice.
And so tell us about the thing that he has on the back.
Ashley can actually.
Well, Nico has a L7 spinal fracture. So the device attached to him is similar to what a human would have with a halo to stabilize the spine to allow that fracture fragment to heal without severing any of the nerves and causing permanent paralysis.
And so all of this is paid for by the SPCA of Suncoast.
Right. Everything that we do is by donation only, so we don't receive any type of government funding like most nonprofits. So we try to raise funds before we can go through with some of the procedures to prevent these animals from actually being euthanized, since they can't receive the proper, treatment they need. Some instances that we feel fit, we just kind of take them, do the surgery, and kind of hope for the best.
How many animals would you say you all have worked with in the past or currently?
Well, we did about probably a little over 1,000 adoptions last year, and we're projected to do close to 1,700 this year. Specifically, sort of high risk or medical cases like this, we've done over 30 since the beginning of 2015. When April, one of the complicating factors with April, not only was she thrown from a car, she had some road rash and everything like that on her nose from that, but she also had severe pneumonia in both lungs, and she also has a ulcerated cornea, secondary to that pneumonia. So she's been on some heavy medications for a few weeks, and she's just now starting to resolve.
How can our viewers help the SPCA of Suncoast?
Absolutely. We've shared some photos today, and there's a link for this particular event right on there, and we would love for them to just go online, make the donation, and they help not only these animals but future animals that come through our facility.
I have to ask, how do you all keep from crying when you're, because I'm on the verge of tears just thinking about these animals being thrown out of a moving car, being shot. This is very difficult work, and yet here you are doing it.
Well, luckily we also get to see the side where they get adopted as well, and they go to homes, and that's the amazing part. That's the rewarding part. We're just kind of the voice for them in the meantime.
And the goal that you've set for this year's Give Day Tampa Bay?
10,000.
Say that with power. 10,000. So let's help them make that happen. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
And thank you for what you all do.
And we appreciate the community, because everything that they do for us is why we're able to continue to save these animals.
That's right. We have the best community and most giving community, which is, I love that. Live here, give here, because it's certainly true of our Tampa Bay area residents. So thank you for coming in. And we're going to take another look at the leaderboard. Over 550 nonprofits from the Tampa Bay area are participating in this year's Give Day Tampa Bay, each and every one of them relying on you, our viewers, to help them with their mission. And joining me now is Mr. Manny Leto of the Tampa Bay History Center. Manny, it's so nice to see you again.
Good to see you again.
Tell our viewers about the Tampa Bay History Center. And, you know, I know it has so many different projects, but how is it impacting the Tampa Bay area and people's understanding of just how special this place is?
Sure. Well, you know, I really love the tagline for Give Day this year, live here, give here. And that's really what the Tampa Bay History Center is all about. We celebrate the place where we live every day, you know, whether those are the stories of the immigrant cigar workers who came here in the 1800s to build places like Ybor City in West Tampa, or if that's the original pioneer families who came here in the 1820s and 1830s. We really celebrate the history and heritage of the Tampa Bay area. And we've really seen a shift, I think, in the appreciation of the history of this area, of the Tampa Bay area. You know, a lot of times we joke at the History Center, a lot of people don't realize how deep the history of Florida really is, and a lot of people may not realize that Florida has a history that goes all the way back to the conquistadors and the first people, and so we really enjoy sharing that every day with the people that come through the museum.
And a lot of folks don't realize that a lot of those roads to that deep history lead right here to the Tampa Bay area.
That's right. You know, the Tampa Bay area has some of the oldest history in North America. We had the first conquistadors arrive here in the 1520s. But I think that that's really the role that the History Center fulfills in the community, is to raise that awareness and to share those stories. You know, we are a megaphone for the stories of this community.
And for guests of all ages, because I know that you all work extensively with the school systems so that they can bring in the kids from the classroom.
Absolutely. There's between 10 and 15,000 school children visit the History Center every day. For many of them, it is a in-depth look at the history of the Tampa Bay area, maybe the first and last time they'll get the chance to do that. And so we're able to share those stories and do it in a fun and engaging way that we think really makes a difference.
And based on some of the interviews that I know that we've done over the last few years, I've seen more and more museums, history centers from outside the area turn to the Tampa Bay History Center as a resource. I know that in South Florida, for example, when they were doing the Peter Pan project, which is a story about the Cuban mass exodus of minor children, the Tampa Bay History Center was part of that.
The History Center is all about partnerships. We love partnering with other community nonprofits, whether those are other museums or whether they're theater organizations or the public library, to bring the stories of Tampa Bay to life. And we really look at ourselves as a regional history center. We tell a very big story, the story of the Tampa Bay area, not just Tampa, but the Tampa Bay region. And so we love our community partners, and anytime we have a chance to bring in an exhibition from another community to help tell their story, we love that opportunity.
Many of the teachers remark that the Tampa Bay History Center is such a huge provider of curriculum, whether it's National Hispanic Heritage Month, Black History Month. They just turn to the Tampa Bay History Center and you all have something for whatever they're looking for to teach in the classroom.
That's right. We really enjoy being a resource for teachers in the classroom. Not only our staff, but also our dedicated volunteers have worked hours and hours to develop curriculum that ties in with the Florida State standards, and also to develop fun things like traveling trunks, where teachers can come to the History Center, check out this sort of mobile learning resource, bring it into the classroom, provide a hands-on learning experience for kids. So maybe they don't have an opportunity to come in for a field trip, but they're still using the resources of the Tampa Bay History Center, and that's why the support from the community and events like Give Day Tampa Bay is so important to us.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Manny, for coming in. We could just keep talking and talking.
Well, I know you love to talk about history, and
yes,
I do too.
Yes, I do. So, but now we're going to check in with the leaderboard and see how the organizations are doing, and they're all listed on that leaderboard. There's more than 550 nonprofits from the Tampa Bay area participating in Give Day Tampa Bay 2016. And our parade of everyday heroes continues here in the studio of WEDU, where we are live streaming Give Day Tampa Bay 2016. Joining me now is Mr. Alvin Martinez of Bays, Florida. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Tell our viewers about Bays, Florida.
Well, Bays, Florida is a nonprofit organization. We started in 1982 in the Tampa Bay area. And our mission is to work with individuals, families, and communities to inspire change, growth, and success. And our primary, the primary function of Bays is to work with youngsters who have run afoul of the law. And we have a contract with the Department of Juvenile Justice. And so we provide services, a juvenile diversion program to young children throughout the state of Florida.
And that's a difficult group. That's a group of children or young adults that a lot of times don't get support and are underserved.
It's a difficult time. I don't know if anybody has raised teenage children, but I've had the opportunity. I'm raising my third one right now, and a lot of the behavior is not much different than the things that I did at that age. I think a lot of it is, some of it is age-appropriate type of behavior, but as a society, we've made a decision that instead of calling your parents and sending you home, today those children get arrested for some of the misbehavior that that some of us experience at an early age. So we have an opportunity to work with them and to really dig in and see what is going on. Is this just age-appropriate misbehavior that you're going through?
Or is it something else?
Or are there deeper problems that you need assistance with?
These are difficult cases, but you have your success stories that make it all worthwhile.
Absolutely. We have many success stories, and some of the challenges, though, that we face are when we have to work with the entire family. And we find that a common thread in some of the most difficult cases is that there's a lot of norms in the family system that
may not be healthy.
They're not healthy.
Right.
And so we spend a lot of time really trying to stabilize that family and get it on a different track.
So you rely heavily on social workers, psychologists. Give our viewers an idea of the different professionals that you need and how much money is involved in that, so that they can decide whether or not, just how much they want to give, so they can realize how their money will be used.
Right. One of the largest barriers that our clients face is they often need follow-up services. So, for instance, if they need substance abuse prevention services, or if they need mental health counseling, or if the family needs some family therapy and that type of thing, the money that's devoted to the services we provide from the Department of Juvenile Justice is earmarked just to provide the service that we provide, the case management.
Got it.
But in many cases, these families don't have the resources. Transportation is a huge issue. Just getting to appointments, even if you can get them hooked into the service that they need. So at Bays, we have to use discretionary funds to help families in those situations when it's really needed. And donations from events like today help us, put us in a position to help with simple things like backpacks for school, simple notepads and binders and shoes. Sometimes children misbehave or don't want to go to school because they don't have shoes to wear.
Exactly. That shame keeps them away from school. I can only imagine how devastating it would be for a family that knows they have to go to that counseling session, and yet they can't get the transportation. That can be devastating.
It really is, and we call those barriers to success in our program. And so what we try to use generous donations for us to eliminate the barriers to success that many of our families face.
Yeah, the phrase, the devil is in the details, comes to mind, so you all are working on that.
Absolutely, every day.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
And thank you for all that your organization does. Thanks for coming in. And we are going to continue with our lineup of visitors. We will be here. I'll be here in the studio for the next hour, 3 to 4 o'clock. Give Day Tampa Bay 2016 has over 500 local nonprofits who are participating this year, and it's impressive to see everyone working behind the camera. I know they're not going to flip the cameras around so you could see them, but there's so much effort that's being put into this live stream, and we're just really proud to be here, and we're relying on you to help Give Day Tampa Bay be a big success. Last year, these 24 hours of fundraising raised over $1.7 million. So we're counting on you to count on us and all of these organizations to make our community a better place. We're going to head over to the leaderboard so that you can get a full listing of all the different nonprofits that are participating this year. Welcome back, everybody. You are watching our live stream from the studio of WEDU. This is giveday.org, and I'm very glad that you all got to see some of the activity and some of the wonderful people who are working behind the scenes to make this happen. The broadcast, the live stream started at 11 a.m. and it goes until 7 p.m. tonight. So call your friends, call your family, call your coworkers, tell them to watch. You're going to be inspired by the stories of the wonderful nonprofits that are participating in Give Day Tampa Bay. Joining me now in the studio, we have Janet Stringfellow and Robert Irvin, who are with Volunteers of America of Florida. Thank you for coming in. And I know, Janet, you have show and tell, so tell our viewers what this is and how their donations will help.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. We're called to serve the most vulnerable, and in the Tampa Bay area, we're helping our homeless veterans and our homeless individuals with special needs, seniors with low-income housing, and believe it or not, some of the most basic items are in need, like soap, toothpaste, towels.
Right.
We also have been very blessed to have community members writing a thank you note for our homeless veterans, thanking them for their service, for their impact, and it's a way for us to include it in the care package and tell them we care about you, we're thinking about you. We have combs, toothbrushes, so plus they also get a nice backpack that they can use.
That they can use for a variety of things. When I hear you go through the items, I can't help but think that you're giving folks some of their dignity back.
Absolutely. It is hard to use the word homeless and veterans in the same sentence.
It is.
But we have to give back to them. We're aware of the basic needs. We serve a lot of single men veterans, and they have a lot of needs, to include furniture and other items too. So whatever we get to receive during the Give Day Tampa Bay will go directly for our homeless veterans, our seniors with low income, and our homeless individuals with special needs.
Robert, give us an idea of how many veterans you all help, and how many seniors. You've mentioned the different communities that you help.
give us some
Yes.
statistics.
So, currently in Tampa Bay, we serve 30 to 50 veterans with housing, transitional housing, and other health services. And across the state, we help hundreds of veterans across the state with the same services.
Is there a certain group of veterans or certain group of folks who are assisted by Volunteers of America that is the most underserved? Would you say it's the veterans?
Absolutely. Interesting enough, we happen to be the highest provider of transitional housing for homeless veterans because in the state of Florida, that's one of the biggest groups in need.
Because so many folks would assume that the assistance is provided to them after they complete their active duty and that there are military organizations that can help. And you're saying that's not always the case.
You're absolutely right. There are a lot of myths about the kind of help they receive. And also, it's hard to understand what leads to a homeless veteran. People don't understand the complexity of the issues when they come back home, how the families are not prepared to welcome them and understand this new person they are receiving. So one thing leads to the other one, and finally they become homeless.
Yeah, there's the whole issue of mental health, post-traumatic stress syndrome, and so many things that you really have to look at the whole picture. And so anyone donating to Volunteers of America, they're helping to fund that comprehensive care, correct?
Absolutely. It is a complex issue, and it takes complex results-oriented services, including mental health services, training, education, employment. We're very passionate about providing results-driven services because that's the right way to do. You know, for all those people who are investing in us, we need to make sure that we produce a good result that creates that independent veteran or independent homeless person or senior that we want to create.
Well, thank you so much for all that you do for our men and women in uniform, and we wish you much luck. We have a wonderful community, very giving, and so we look forward to seeing the community donate on Give Day Tampa Bay. So thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Welcome back, everybody. We continue our live stream from the studios of WEDU for Give Day Tampa Bay. We have moved over from the table over to this section of the studio so that you can get a really good view of these beautiful little friends. We're talking to Tampa Bay Beagle Rescue, and joining us is Diane Krajic and Bob Price. And what are the names of these little cutie pies?
This is Charlie.
This is Charlie, okay.
And Charlie is Audra's puppy.
And so tell us about your organization.
Well, Tampa Bay Beagle Rescue saves beagles throughout the state of Florida, mostly, sometimes from other states. We bring them into our rescue mostly from shelters where they may be at risk of being euthanized at some point. We bring them into our rescue. We make sure they get all their medical needs taken care of, and then we carefully adopt them out to people who apply to adopt.
And when they apply to adopt, you know, they have to meet certain criteria. You want to make sure they're going into a good home.
Absolutely, yes. If someone applies, we do check with their veterinarian, you know, if they've had previous pets, and make sure that they're going to take care of our dogs as well as they did theirs in the past.
This dog is so cute. Let's get a
It's his nap
Let's get a big close up. Look at this cutie pie. Oh my goodness. Bob, I could just play with these dogs all day. Okay, so tell me how many doggies, how many beagles you all help every year.
Last year we did about 150. Our goal this year is to do over 200. I think our largest year was 2008. We did over 300. So we have done 60 so far this year, and so we're on a good pace.
Give our viewers an idea, an estimate of how their dollars are. You stretch their dollars, their donations, how they're used, so that they can understand that whatever they give is important and goes towards helping the cause.
Every penny that we raise goes to the care of the dogs. 100% of it. We bring dogs in from areas that need some pretty extensive medical care, and the adoption fees that we charge never come close to, it's more just a commitment of them to, you know, caring for their dog and adopting. But
even just in food, how much would you say the organization?
Well, I have to tell you, and that's the phenomenal thing, because we're all volunteer. When somebody volunteers for us to be a foster, they provide the food. We provide all the medical care and all the prevention, but everything is all the volunteers. I mean, we couldn't do it without them. I mean, it's phenomenal.
So how are you in need of volunteers for Tampa Bay Beagle Rescue?
We are always in need, and we tell people all the time, even if you can't foster, we have people that think, well, I can't foster. It doesn't matter. We do PR events that they can help at, transportation.
Maybe they can pick up a bag of food when they're at the grocery store?
Exactly. Office work. Trust me, we can find things to be done.
All right. Well, before you go, I just want to make sure that the camera gets a really close look at this cutie pie, too. How you doing? Oh, my gosh, they're so good. She's so good, so sweet.
Look at those beautiful eyes.
Beautiful. Folks, it's your chance to help Tampa Bay Beagle Rescue, one of more than 550 nonprofits in the Tampa Bay area who are participating in Give Day Tampa Bay. How could you say no to these little eyes? And from beautiful beagles, we now go to Clay, Creative Clay. Joining us in the studio now, we welcome Marcy Davidson with Creative Clay. Welcome. Thank you for being part of Give Day Tampa Bay.
Thanks for having us.
So tell us how our viewers can help with the mission of Creative Clay.
Well, Creative Clay is a not-for-profit community arts center in downtown St. Petersburg, and we serve people with disabilities. We serve people in healthcare settings. We also have a summer camp, and we do some community outreach programs at CASA and Goodwill. Basically, we hire professional artists from our community to come in and work side by side with our...
You've got such an important message. I want folks to be able to hear you.
Okay, thanks.
Go ahead.
So we hire professional artists from the community to come in and work with our students, and they produce artwork, and we have a gallery in downtown St. Pete. It's a 4,000 square foot gallery where we sell our artwork. We have one of the largest folk art collections in the area. We serve about 150 to 200 people per month. And right now we are, or let's see, from 4 to 7 this afternoon, we're going to be at Green Bench with CASA and raising money for Give Day Tampa Bay, or for Creative Clay.
Right, and what's the goal for Creative Clay this year?
$5,000 this year.
$5,000, okay. And so what are the ages of the, it seems like you're working with people of all ages.
Really, it is, yeah. We have the summer camp for children 6 to 12, and then the community arts program is for adults primarily, and then we have a Pinellas County school transition program that's for students that are aging out of high school and getting ready for work.
So it's impressive when you talk about the different organizations that you work with. It's not just about Creative Clay. You're also helping other organizations in the community. We work extensively with the CASA Domestic Violence Center in St. Petersburg, and the work that they're doing would not be possible without organizations like Creative Clay.
One of our biggest goals is inclusivity. So we want to get people with disabilities included in the art scene downtown, and we collaborate with a lot of organizations downtown. So we'll take an individual with a disability and a professional artist, and they'll both go to CASA and they'll lead a class together with a woman at CASA.
So what do the donation, when folks donate, what are the donations used for? Pardon me, I'm not an artist. I do stick people very well, but that's about it. So are we talking about clay, paint brushes?
All different mediums. It really depends on what the artist brings to us. So different professional artists from our community will come in, and some are going to be ceramicists, some are going to be fiber artists, some will be painters. So yeah, just...
And all of that is provided at no cost to the participant?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and so how have you seen the art and the whole experience of art help in terms of children, for example, who come in? How is I call it art therapy. I mean, you have a front row seat to how it helps.
Yeah, well, the process is definitely, I would say, therapeutic, and just self-expression builds self-esteem. It's just to see how proud they are when their parents come to pick them up at the end of the afternoon and the art that they've created. And then in the summer camp, when we work with kids, they also usually have some place where they exhibit all the work they've done. Like we partner with the St. Petersburg Museum of History.
Yes,
and
which is wonderful.
They'll show their artwork there every week, and so they get a chance to do that. And in terms of our adults, for them it's a vocation. I mean, a lot of them can't hold a traditional job, and so the only way they can make money is to sell their artwork. And so when somebody comes into our gallery, they introduce themselves, and I'm an artist, and so that's what they do.
Wow. How long have you been with Creative Clay?
Creative Clay started in 1995, and I was on their original board of directors in 1995, and I joined their staff in 2008. So I've been with the organization for a very long time.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and for educating us on Creative Clay.
Thank you.
I always find that we think we know things, and then we learn something else when we approach something with an open mind and an open heart.
Thanks.
So thank you for coming in.
Come on down, see us.
We will. Okay. We will. Thank you. And we will continue with our lineup of everyday heroes right here on WEDU for Give Day Tampa Bay.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the live stream. We continue here on Give Day Tampa Bay from the studios of WEDU. And before my colleague at ABC Action News, Carson Chambers, goes live, I just want Wilma Norton to give us a really quick update of what's going on with the webpage and donations.
Well, as you know, we've been really frustrated all day, not just us, but nationwide, that the site has been down and we haven't been able to accept donations. So we are setting up an alternative site that will be live by 5 o'clock, and we'll post that site on the websites and on Twitter, and we'll talk about it here when that's ready to go. People are working on it, and we're going to have that ready in a few minutes. The Give Day site's going to stay up, and if it gets fixed, people can still go there, but we just reached the point where we have to give folks an alternative.
Yes.
We can't let our nonprofits down just because the technology has let us down today.
At this point, are we ready to say the URL for that or not yet?
Give me 5 minutes.
Okay, got it. Carson is waiting for you,
Okay,
and my
thank you,
colleague
Lissette.
Eugene Perry. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So much has gone into Give Day Tampa Bay 2016, and none of it would be possible without you watching. So thank you so much for participating. That concludes this hour of our Give Day Tampa Bay webcast. But stay with us. There are a number of outstanding groups yet to come. The over 550 nonprofits who are participating in Give Day touch people's lives in hundreds of different ways. Here are a couple of outstanding organizations who are making a difference right here in Tampa Bay.
High Risk Hope was the brainchild of our founder, Heather and Bennett Barrow. Heather was placed on high-risk pregnancy bed rest at a local hospital, and after a 9-week stay on the high-risk OB floor, as well as a subsequent stay for her son in the neonatal intensive care unit, Heather and Bennett realized that there was a fundamental lacking of external support for families in scenarios just like their own. So in February of 2011, High Risk Hope was born with a mission to encourage, support, and give information and resources to families in the same situation. Additionally, there is another goal for High Risk Hope to serve as a catalyst for the global fight against prematurity. We are informed by the hospitals when they have a patient that fits the criteria, and if it's a high-risk obstetric patient, they receive a bed rest basket, and if the family has a child that's in the neonatal intensive care unit, then they receive a NICU knapsack. And this is all through communication with our regional hospitals. Being able to go see these women and these families and give them items from a bed rest basket that might not mean much in the literal sense, but the symbolism behind it. Seeing how these women in particular react so strongly and so positively to our presence, and then they turn around and they volunteer for High Risk Hope as well. That to me is why this is such a strong driving machine. This situation with the premature birth rate, it definitely needs our attention. These families, they need our love, they need our support, they need our encouragements, and they also need our gifts.
So before Mary Lee's house, when children who were victims of abuse or neglect were thrown into a process, they were shuttled all over Hillsborough County. They would be sent to a hospital for medical needs. They would be sent to the police station for interviews. They would be taken to the courthouse for legal proceedings. And it was a really scary, very sterile environment, and it was not very efficient, and most importantly, it was very traumatizing to the children. So a system that's created to help them was actually continuing to re-traumatize them. So people in the public sector as well as the private sector came together, identified the need to bring all of these services together in one place that would best serve the children, a very child-friendly environment where they could come, they could feel loved and respected, and receive all the services they need under one roof. One example we had recently was a 4-year-old little girl, and she suffered severe abuse at the hands of some caregivers that her parents had left her with. So you're looking at neglect of parents leaving her with people that couldn't take care of her, and then abuse on their part. She suffered very severe burns. So she was taken to the hospital. She had been in the hospital for about 4 weeks and wasn't talking. They couldn't get information they needed, and they didn't know how to help this girl and how to prosecute the people that had done this to her. And so the caregivers came together and they discharged her. They brought her to Mary Lee's house. This is where we would come in. It's a loving, very child-friendly, beautiful environment. Kids come in and they feel comfortable. She came to us for the day, put a tiara on her head when she walked in, played with her, had a tea party, made her feel like a little girl again, and just kind of re-emphasizing, you're a child and you're innocent and we're going to help you. And through the course of the day, they were able to get that evidence that they needed from her. The professionals at Mary Lee's house know how to interview in an appropriate, child-friendly way, and ultimately were able to get the information they needed to move forward with her case. This is a real issue that everyone in our community should be concerned about. These children are our future, and our goal is to get them on the right track because they are innocent victims. So it's important for the community and the private partnership to support these agencies. There's not a lot of money in government, and these people who are dealing with these issues, they work very hard, tireless hours with very low budgets. So our responsibility as a community is to support them and to provide this environment for the children so that they can get the care that they need.
Welcome to Give Day Tampa Bay 2016, live from the WEDU studios at the Berkman Family Broadcast Center.
Good afternoon and welcome to Give Day Tampa Bay 2016. I'm Frank Robertson.
And I'm Kathy Fountain, and we are going to be your host today for the next hour.